The first Tuesday of every month for 4 years, I bought a money order at the post office on Grand Avenue. Not the one closer to my apartment, but that specific one because they had those old-fashioned wooden desks where you could fill out the forms without hunching over. I like that. It made the transaction feel solid, intentional. I'd walk to the coffee shop next door, buy a plain scone I never really wanted, and slide the money order into a card. Funny, I still remember the designs. They were always the ones with flowers. Not funereal flowers, but bright ones. Daisies, tulips, things that said thinking of you without saying sorry about your finances. I never wrote much, just love Claire. Sometimes I'd add a postscript about the weather. Mom stopped apologizing around the second year. In the beginning, it was always, "I hate doing this to you," or "I'll pay you back somehow." By year 3, she just took the card, nodded, and put it on the counter by the kettle. The debt was quiet, but we both knew it was still there. My brother, Derek, never mentioned it, not once. He lived 3 states away and called every Sunday, and the money never came up. I assumed she didn't tell him. I assumed she was embarrassed. I was wrong about that. Derek called on a Thursday night, late enough that I was already in pajamas. His voice was calm, which should have warned me. Derek only gets calm when he's worked himself into something he believes is righteous. "I know what you're doing," he said. I waited. I thought maybe he meant something about the old neighborhood, a property thing, some family dispute I hadn't heard about. "You think I'm stupid, sending money every month? You think I don't see it, waiting for her to die so you can cash in on the house?" I don't remember my reply. I think I said something useless like "what?" or "that's not," but he was already going. He had the numbers. He'd done the math. $72,000 over 4 years, give or take. In his telling, it wasn't help. It was an investment, a down payment on a future payout. He said I was the worst kind of daughter, the kind who keeps receipts. I drove to Mom's the next evening. I thought if I could just explain, if she could hear it from me directly, the whole thing would dissolve. She'd laugh and say Derek was being dramatic. We'd sit in the kitchen like always, and I'd make tea, and she'd tell me about her neighbor's cat. She met me at the door. "She didn't step outside. He's just looking out for me," she said. "Someone has to." I stood on the porch. The screen door was between us. I could see Derek behind her in the hallway, arms crossed, watching like he just solved a case. "Mom, I've been helping. That's all. Just helping. Ungrateful," she said. Her voice was flat, like she'd rehearsed it. "You think throwing money at me makes you a good daughter? You think I asked for that? You think I wanted to owe you?" I didn't know what to say. I'd never asked for gratitude. I'd never once mentioned repayment. But standing there, I understood that wasn't the point. The debt wasn't financial anymore. It was emotional. My help had become a weight she couldn't carry, and Derek had given her permission to drop it. "Leave," she said, "just leave." I left. The next week was strange. I kept reaching for the routine. Tuesday would come and I'd think, I should go to the post office, and then I'd remember I didn't have to. The first Tuesday I felt guilty. The second Tuesday I felt light. Not happy exactly, just unanchored. I started looking at my bank account more often. The numbers were different now. I could do things, small things. I bought a good lamp for my reading chair. I signed up for a class I'd been putting off. I told myself none of it mattered, that I'd trade it all to have my mother back, but the truth was more complicated. The truth was the money had been a kind of leash, and I hadn't even known I was wearing it. Moving day, Derek showed up. He didn't offer to help. He stood in the driveway of my old building with his arms crossed, watching me load boxes into my car. His car was parked behind mine, blocking me in. I didn't ask him to move. I just loaded, got everything. He called out when I shut the trunk. I didn't answer. I was looking past him. My landlord, Mr. Kozlowski, was walking up the driveway. He's retired, maybe 70, with the kind of face that always looks slightly concerned. He was holding a manila folder. "Claire," he said, nodding at Derek, then at me. Got those keys for you. And the paperwork came through, signed, sealed, delivered. He handed me the folder. Inside was the deed to the duplex, the one I'd put an offer on 3 months ago. The one I could only afford because my monthly expenses had finally suddenly dropped by $1,500. Derek's arms uncrossed. What's that? Mr. Kozlowski looked at him, then at me. Her new place. Nice little investment. Good bones. I didn't say anything. I just looked at the deed. My name, my property. Not inherited, not waited for. Built quietly in the space my brother and mother had cleared by pushing me out. The laugh came from somewhere I didn't expect. It wasn't loud. It was more of a release, a sound I made into the folder so no one would see my face. But Derek heard it. He stepped forward, tried to see the papers. Is that Mom's house? Did you already? No, I said. It's mine. I closed the folder. I looked at him. His face was doing something complicated. Confusion first, then the slow, awful dawn of understanding. He'd spent weeks painting me as the schemer, the one who waits for death to cash in. And here I was, walking away from the family entirely, holding proof that I hadn't been waiting for anything. I'd been building, on my own, with money they'd forced me to keep. Mr. Kozlowski handed me the keys. Congratulations, kid. Thank you. I got in my car. Derek was still standing there, mouth half open, arms limp at his sides. He wasn't blocking me anymore. He'd stepped aside without realizing it. I started the engine, rolled down the window, and looked at him one last time. He didn't speak. Neither did I. I drove to my duplex. It needs paint. The gutters are loose. The previous owners let the garden go. But the locks work, and the keys are mine, and no one is waiting inside to tell me I'm ungrateful. I sat in the empty living room for a long time that first night. The floor was bare. The walls were bare. I wasn't happy exactly. But I wasn't sad either. I was just there, in my own space, with nothing left to prove and no one left to help. It felt like enough.